Here we go. Hi everyone, welcome to this Questel webinar. Today we will talk about how to make sure your search strategy is correct and appropriate. We would like to focus the topics of today in, let's say, three different categories. First, we will talk about how to make a good search strategy using the tool. Second part will be about how to make a very good search strategy using, in addition, the human analyst. And then the third part will be a testimonial from a law firm that is using, of course, both strategies plus the legal risk assessment on top of that. Welcome with me our speakers for today, myself, Elena Galletti, Head of Trademarks Architecture Solutions at Questel. Together with me, we will have Markify, Head of Trademark SaaS Solutions at Questel Group, and then Pascaline Bureau, SME for South of Europe. She is managing the SaaS solution for the Questel Group as well. And then we have Anne-Constance Lacoste from Novagraph, Belgium. She is a trademark and design European attorney. And then An-Sofie Vandelanotte. She is deputy team leader at searches department at Brandstock. So just a few reminders. We will send you the presentation after the webinar. If you have technical problems, issues, questions, please post them in the chat, and we will make sure that someone from the IT team is helping you to solve the IT matters during the webinar. And we will make sure that at the end of our presentation, we will have a dedicated session to Q&A if the time allows us to do that. Let's talk about now what we will discuss today in details. So we will start with tips and tricks for maximizing your trademark search efforts with Markify. We will also discuss the different techniques for conducting trademark searches. Then we will discuss the importance of keyword combinations while doing your searches. And then when and why your search might benefit from the expertise of an analyst and how Questel can help. And then the last part, why searching the right way is crucial. And of course, we know that our audience is really differentiated because we have IP professionals coming both from corporates and from law firm. So we will try to cover both, let's say, scenarios in our presentation. A brief presentation about our company. Questel, as you probably know, is a global provider for tax solutions and combining professional services on top of the IT ecosystem we have in place. So our mission is really to help clients in adding value to the IP portfolio strategy they are running every day. And how we do that, we combine, let's say, the SaaS solutions, so the technological part, together with high professionality on services. When it comes to, in particular, to clearance and watching, we have different platforms available and different solutions. Of course, it depends. If you want to search yourself, you have different ways of ordering searches and of running searches directly using the tool. Or if you want to use our services, where you can leverage the fact that we have professionals doing nothing else than searching, watching, and protecting your brands online. When it comes to managing your IP assets, you have different solutions depending if you are a law firm or a corporation. And of course, if you want to add several modules, let's say, to protect your assets through blockchain, or if you want to monitor your project from the name creation till the filing, then you have our brand proposal tools. And the last part is dedicated to the large and very big experience we have on supporting services when it comes to renewals, to recordals, to IP admin support, to domain name management. This is a big part of the services we provide for worldwide clients, both for small and medium enterprises and for large corporations. And then, of course, for legal services, we highly recommend working with Brandstock Legal and Novograph offices. Now, let's talk about the topic of today. We start the first session with Marie and Pascaline, where we will analyze some tips and tricks using Markify. Marie and Pascaline, up to you.
Thank you, Elena.
So thank you, Elena. We have prepared 3 polls today to better know our audience. For the first one, the question is, what can be tricky with a trademark clearance search? If you can select one of these options, thinking of all variation while identifying the needs, getting too many results, reviewing result goods and services takes time long, or missing transliterations. So the poll is now closed. It seems that the trickiest thing for you is to thinking of all variations. So let's see how Markify can be a powerful tool to make your searches easier. So the first step is to correctly identify the databases. In Markify, we have a worldwide trademark databases and the common law section, which includes the business names, domain names, and app names. We also have the pharmaceutical databases and also the design databases, which is a new feature in Markify. So now I will present you the 2 first options available in Markify for running a search called Comprehensive Search and Pro Search. And then Marie will introduce the first option, Analyst-Driven Search, and it will be presented in detail by Elena and An-Sofie later. So, comprehensive search is the deepest level of searching. This is a full availability search. This is an option for clearance work with the highest need of certainty. In comprehensive search, you can search for a word, image, or design. You obtain fully automated reports. Results are ranked in 4 risk levels to ease your review. And this is a pay-as-you-go system. You only pay for the searches you run. And then you have a pro search model. This is a knockout search with a full subscription. As for the comprehensive search, you can run a search for word, image, or design. And as it is a screening tool, results are ranked in 2 risk levels. So Marie, now it's your turn to talk about the analyst-driven search.
Yes, thank you, Pascaline. So about analyst-driven search, what will be new inside Markify, as this is really our first topic, do-it-yourself solution Markify, is the fact that you will be able to very soon order those analyst-driven searches from within the interface. The service itself is absolutely not new, and once again, An-Sofie and Elena will speak about it, but the fact that you will be able to order it from the interface, yes, will be new. This will happen in the comprehensive search part, the pay-as-you-go part that you have very quickly seen before. And what we like from this service is that it's a mix of human expertise and algorithm. So I would say best of both worlds directly from the interface.
Oh, thank you, Mary. So today we have decided to do a focus on pro search. Pro search has two main types of search called custom search and advanced similarity. We will see both. So custom search is a kind of do-it-yourself. You can design your own search by playing with the criteria. It can be used if you want to find some specific trademarks. So now we will see how the advanced similarity algorithm works in Markify and which variation you can find. The advanced similarity algorithm is built with a statistical analysis of more than 1 million official cases where two trademarks have been found confusingly similar in the US and the EU. Consequently, it is designed in a way to cover orthographical and phonetical similarities, as well as all languages and alphabets. So, let's see which variation this algorithm allows you to find. Here, in this example, we have run a search on the trademark Oculus. As you can see, the algorithm found, of course, the identical trademarks, but also interesting similar trademarks as Oculus Go or Binoculus. Here we have another example of what Markify's algorithm is capable of finding. We have run a search on the brand Zara. This is interesting to see that the algorithm was able to find some trademark in Cyrillic and Thai characters, Zara and Sarah. They are the transliteration of the mark Zara or Sarah, which is very similar phonetically to Zara. For our last example, we have run a search on the expression house party. Here, two very interesting results. The algorithm has found a trademark with the terms house and party in reverse order, the party house TPH. We also retrieve the trademark Casa Fiesta. That means the algorithm is able to detect the translation in other languages, here in Spanish. So now, let's see how to work efficiently when reviewing the results. For that, Markify offers some very useful tools, such as filters or highlights, and then Mary will present you how to create easily a great report. So here you can see two columns, add and comment. In the column add, you can apply your own color code to each detected trademarks, and then you can sort them using the color coding. It's actually what I did for the search Oculus I showed you just before. And in the column comments, you can write observation notes for each detected trademark, and the comment can be exported in the report as well. So now let's see how to filter the detected trademarks. In the column trademark, you can narrow down the results by applying a filter. In our example, Oculus, we wanted to find only the trademark beginning with Ocul.
There's been a problem with the slide, sorry, I'm going back. I don't know why, but the tool has gone through them very quickly. So I think you were here.
Just there. Yeah, yes.
Yes, begins with.
So yes, as I said, in the column trademark, you can narrow down the result by applying a filter. Here, we would like to see only the trademark beginning with Ocul. So you can also highlight owner name or some goods and services. In our example, we wanted to see which detected trademark have been filed or registered for computer or software in class 9. So we applied a custom flag in green to these goods. By doing so, you can easily identify which trademark are protected for these goods. So now Mary will present you the reports you can create in Markify.
Yes, thank you. So without going into too many details, because we have a lot to share with you today, just wanted to say that you can export obviously results in PDF, HTML, CSV, Excel. You can ask also our teams to customize those reports for you. And the part that is nice is that you can also export the map that is included in the tool. So this map is, as you can see, a geographical one, showing you where the results are mostly present worldwide. And even if it's not today's topic, good to know that you can also run, for example, owner searches. So these can be used as also for competitive intelligence if you want to check where competitors or other firms are present worldwide. And maybe also we wanted to end this part on what is coming from Markify. Two very different options are going to be added for all our clients. One is called Identical Plus and the other is a Boolean search. So those options that we are going to add are totally different philosophy. Identical Plus is for our clients who want to rely on the algorithm but not find all complex variations possible, rather do a very strict knockout search on what is very close. So Identical Plus bear its name very well. Identical Plus will find, for example, what contains exactly the word, or those letters with a space in between, or a punctuation sign in between, or expression containing the word, but not more, because we don't ask it for more. Otherwise, you use the algorithm you have seen before. And Boolean search is totally different. So for Identical Plus, I have an example of results here where we have searched pixel, and you see the kind of result you would get for a pixel. And Boolean search is totally different. Opposite philosophy. I do not want to use an algorithm. I want to guide the tool and say exactly what needs to be searched. So example here, I can modify my presets and decide of the exact variations I accept for the search. So both those options are being added in the tool very soon for all our clients. Here, this was a search on what contains econ, those 5 characters at the beginning, minimum. So this is once again an example of results. And I think I'm gonna let it to you, Elena, for the second part of our webinar.
Thank you, Marie. Thank you, Pascaline. So we ask you a second poll now. How frequent do you usually run searches? We would like you to select between the 4 options, and we leave you a few seconds to reply. The reason why we do this polls is also to understand more about our audience and try to dedicate the session to what could be relevant for you. Okay, I see that you are voting. Just a few seconds more. Okay, so the majority of the audience today is usually running 1 or 2 searches per month, and then some of them 1 or 2 per week. Okay, that's a good number. So after you have seen how to run a search by yourself using Markify, we would like to discuss a bit further on how can a search strategy be considered wrong. Because it's true that you can run the search by yourself, create all of your criteria and details, but sometimes we have seen that there are some common mistakes in doing searches. And we have tried to list some of these mistakes that we have seen during this year. So maybe lack of a clear understanding of your company's or firm's risk policy. Sometimes we have seen also big groups doing some type of searches, but forgetting about the fact that maybe based on the company policy, they should have run additional searches or in additional countries, then including only the relevant classes and probably excluding similar classes that could be helpful in the search strategy. covering only the legal risks, while in some cases it's true that the business risks associated with the design name are much more relevant. Then we have seen failure to identify the correct criteria required for a specific search and its related parameters. And the last one, but there could be much more, and I think that An-Sofie has seen in her experience a lot of mistakes from all over, avoiding basic linguistic research for names or part of the names. So having said that, it is true that search can be wrong sometimes, but it's also true that when you are running a search, maybe it's also very difficult to say in a clear way what is really similar and what can be considered similar. So An-Sofie, over to you to have some examples about it.
Yes. Within practicing, obviously, what you're doing is you're comparing marks, and to know what is considered similar, we all turn to court decisions. So we all try to stay in the loop as to what is the latest tendency. And from my experience, from keeping track of them, and by the two examples that I will show you, those decisions can go sometimes either way. So this decision from a European court was Pandem versus Panda. In this case, it was decided that there is no likelihood of confusion, even though you can see that obviously the names share the first four letters. They could be considered somewhat similar. Probably the goods and the classes are clearly overlapping. However, no likelihood of confusion in this case. This case is a design. As you can see, it was concerning the monster design. And then the other proposal, the other trademark basically also has three wobbly stripes, and all of them cover classes that are the same, as well as goods and services that are similar. And then here in this case, it was considered that there's a likelihood of confusion. I think both cases are up to be discussed, but this is the decision of the court.
Yeah, exactly, and it's true that can we draw a clear conclusion based on court decisions? I mean, in our opinion, there doesn't seem to be a clear line between what is considered similar and what is not. The decisions do not always appear consistent. We have noticed a tendency towards judgments to become more strict in most of the cases. And then it is also true that the concept of confusingly similar is not really a worldwide standardized one. So you can have a decision in the US in one way, and maybe in Asia, in an Asian country in another way. So it's not always black and white. Mm-hmm. That's why, in our opinion, it is important to, first of all, before searching, determine the entire framework, which means classes, countries, the purpose of the search, which products or services best meet the needs of a set out framework, and then understand when to rely on the algorithm itself, because you are well aware of how to use it and you can do it yourself, and when maybe it's the time to call for an analyst, a professional, someone that knows how to do searches, knows how to save time for you and get for you only the relevant results that are appropriate for your case.
Yes, exactly. It's like you said, sometimes the algorithm perfectly matches your needs, just like what Pascaline showed before. Here in this case, you tick off in Markify Pro Search the option for advanced similarity. I used the name Phoenix. It's a very popular thing to search when you're trying to test the database, to see what type of results that you get. And obviously, you get a nice set first of all, the obvious ones, which are the identical ones. And then if you are dealing with a decent algorithm, with a good algorithm, you will get a number of phonetically similar or visually similar prior trademarks. But it's, as you mentioned before, an algorithm on its own does bear certain risks. And as we saw in the poll, the first poll, it stated that the majority of the people have difficulties finding the similar variations, or they can't think of everything. An algorithm can help you a long way. But, you know, there are still certain risks involved.
Yeah, exactly, An-Sofie, and that's why we have tried to summarize for your knowledge when we think that it's good to rely on the algorithm only. Marie, you can go to the next slide, please. And there are some specific cases that we have tried to summarize.
Yeah,
An-Sofie,
exactly.
when do you suggest to rely on that?
So we have 3 scenarios. They're not limited to this, but these are, in my opinion, somewhat obvious ones. So what we see in practice is that an algorithm can definitely help when you're dealing with a large set of proposals and you're actually looking for only 2 marks. So you have 50, marketing came up with 50 marks and you need to narrow it down to 2. I think doing an algorithm search can help you a long way in determining what might be the most promising marks. The other scenario, the second one, is when you already have a strong trademark, a trademark that you already use, an established house brand, and you're maybe looking to add a special or a limited edition. So you're looking to adding a weekly distinctive element. And so you're only very much interested in like seeing what is out there. In this case, the algorithm can very well match your needs. And then the third one is when you're not really looking to register a mark at all, because in this case, I'm thinking about fashion, fast-moving consumer goods, where they deal a lot with collections. Those collections are only available for a limited amount of time and in very limited territory. So I think in those cases, the algorithm does very well.
Yeah, true. And I can really tell that because in my previous experience working in a fashion company, it's true that you have a numbers of collections and payoff marketing campaigns. And it's true that if you start to search really in deep for all of them, maybe it never stops. And by the way, An-Sofie, when vice versa, do you suggest relying on human expertise? So on an analyst that knows how to do searches, that can run a search in a very short time because they know how to do it, they have all the expertise, they know how to deal with different tools and so on.
Yeah, so also in this case, there are different stages within the search, within a search that you can ask for assistance. The first one being, which can also help again with thinking of variations. If you're asking an analyst to help when they do nothing else than searching, they have a certain way of very structured going at a search, and they can help you think of every single variation that you're looking at. So this will be the first step at the stage of the database search itself. Then the second step could be that you get somebody involved to verify the database results, because either when using just an algorithm or even if you've used an analyst in the first step, you can still deal either with a very large set of results, but you might also find that you didn't get as many results as you liked. So you need to go a step back and an analyst can help you with that. And then the third part would be that you have a set of results already, but you have a hard time making a conclusion of what the set of results means. And in that case, having a lawyer or an analyst giving you a legal and a business risk assessment can definitely help.
And this is very interesting for me. And when do you think there could be a case where it's very good to combine algorithm plus analyst-driven search? So the tool and a professional.
Yeah, so within our practice, we both use algorithm searching as well as Boolean searching. And I've noticed that the algorithm, or that algorithms in general, have a harder time when it comes to very short marks, trademarks, where you're basically dealing with 2 or 3 letters, acronyms of any sort. Sometimes with an algorithm, it'll be hard to find what is the most relevant. Then marks consisting of several elements, or like combined marks. So I'm thinking about slogans or trademarks that have a very distinctive element, or in combination with a weakly distinctive element. And then trademarks that are completely descriptive or diluted. In all of those 3 cases, I think the hardest fact to deal with is that an algorithm will give you a very large set of results.
Okay, so just to be practical and make an example, because this is all theoretical, and it's a good, let's say, beginning for the sample, for the example that we have now. We have taken Sunshine God in class 3, and yes. Yeah, let's talk a bit about this example.
Okay, so Sunshine God in class 3, this you can think of it as like cosmetics. When we deal with proposals from cosmetic companies, they love proposals that are descriptive because they sell very well in the market. However, to search for them, it's not so nice, or not always so nice. And the algorithm tends to have a difficult time processing what is important and what the most important element is. And so the analyst search for Sunshine God was able to find Sun Goddess by Musicology, or Golden Sun, which the algorithm didn't pick up on for whatever reasons, but we were able to basically add queries to that to get that type of result. So you're able to influence the search strategy and then the results that you retrieve. Because even though these marks might not be like of the extremely high risk, you might still want to be aware of them. I think that's basically what it boils down to, the fact that with an algorithm, you will definitely find identical marks. However, you might miss like the last 5%, which you might still want to be aware of.
Okay, so if we can summarize a bit, and let's say which is the lesson learned for today, An-Sofie, taking into consideration that on one side, of course, the algorithm is there, is always available. We have seen it with Marie and Pascaline, which are some of the functionalities. And on the other side, of course, we have analysts available to run searches in a very quick way, taking out also the responsibility from IP Council or IP firm shoulders. Let's say, can we just summarize?
Yeah, I think in general, for every company and for every legal firm, I think it's a decision that needs to be made on a case-by-case basis. I think we all have our habits and what we're used to working with, but I think it's important to look at the trademark proposal that you're dealing with and then making the decision as to what would best fit the needs, be it using the algorithm on its own or getting an analyst or a law firm involved. And I'm of the strong opinion that it shouldn't just be driven by resources, that you should definitely look at what can be the best output for yourself or your clients.
And from, let's say, technological point of view, Marie and Pascaline, what is the lesson learned, let's say, that we can transmit today to the audience?
Yes, so I think we are all aligned in this group. Yeah, I would say that whatever the choice, indeed, resources, yeah, are key. But when we say resources, it's not only, it can be the tool, it can be internal resources. So what I mean, the professional can be in-house, perfect. It's when it's not in-house that you may need some external help. And then, we have good tips, of course. The algorithm will help you. We really do believe that best solution is always a mix. So once again, internal or not, depending on what you have already at hand, but a mix of human intelligence and artificial intelligence is always the best. So I think that's it on our end.
Yes, thank you very much. So we have a last poll for today, and then I will hand over to Anne-Constance. So do you usually run searches through online free databases using third parties platform, through a professional analyst, or through a law firm? I just wait a few seconds. And when I see time flies, we have received some questions in the chat, so we will make sure to reply to all of them separately. Okay, I see most of the people replied already. Thanks a lot for your feedback. I can see that the majority of you is using third parties platform, and then 47% is using online free databases. Okay, cool. Thanks a lot. Now we have the last part with Anne-Constance. We also wanted to hear from the other side, let's say from the view of a law firm that is using both words, let's say, in some cases relying on the tools, in some cases on the tool and the analyst driven part. So what's your feedback about that, Anne-Constance?
Yes, thank you all. I think an IP attorney can be really helpful in your searches to have a correct strategy of searches. And why? Because it's crucial. Indeed, if you want to expand your trademark globally, it could be very good to proceed with identical searches, for example, as we said, to waive the most risky trademarks among a batch of names, for example. I think it's really important for companies. And also a wrong strategy could lead you to irrelevant costs, such as the first filing cost, for example, if you realize that the trademark cannot be registered in other countries. And well, also a good strategy of searches can be provided by your IP attorney, notably if you don't want to be associated with a certain category of goods that you're not thinking of at the first place. I know that one of my clients was in the beverages industry, for example, and so it was really important to clear the searches, not only in classes 32 and 33, but also in class 34 for tobacco products. And on the top of that, I think that it can be sometimes useful to know if your competitors have similar trademarks, just to be aware of what they are doing. Yes.
I'm late.
And I think that a good strategy of searches is providing relevant results for you. Based on these results, you will be able to decide where to file your trademark, possibly negotiate with the owner of the prior listed trademarks if it's necessary. And I think this is where your IP attorney can help you with that. And also, it's important to verify the use of these prior trademarks. And ultimately, I think the consequences of a wrong strategy are numerous, but the most important ones is that your trademark can be challenged by an opposition, a cancellation actions, etc. And you waste all the money that you invested in the filings at first, and you will also waste the money defending against the challenged trademark. You will lose possibly credibility or create a negative image in the market. So I think to sum up, with searches, you have three options and three levels of searches. You can conduct your searches by yourself, which is good when you have identical trademarks, when you want to clear the names, or you have a batch of, I don't know, 5, 10 names, and you have to select one or two. You can conduct searches through an analyst, which is a good balance to be cost effective and have a broader analysis than just conducting the searches by yourself. And also you can conduct searches through an IP firm, such as Novagraph, and you will obtain an in-depth analysis of the results and possible legal and business strategies to have your sign well protected, such as I said, negotiate with the prior owners or to contact the prior owners to see if a coexistence agreement is possible or something like that. So I think these are the 3 levels, and we said it before. It was there are good options.
Thank you, Anne-Constance. I think it was also good to have the view of an IP firm, and we see that today we have several IP firms connected. So I think that the colleagues will agree with you on that. So today we have talked about mistakes in doing searches, about some features you can use to run your searches in an appropriate way, some cases where it's better to rely on technology, some cases where it could be better to rely also on an analyst to really dig deeper in the results, and some cases, of course, where also the legal advice and the legal risk assessment is needed. I see that we are running out of time, but we have a lot of questions, so we will make sure to reply to all of your questions in the next few days. And then, of course, if you have additional questions, feel free to post your questions or to address each question to us. You can also add us on LinkedIn. We will be very happy to reply to you directly. You will receive a recording of today's session in the next few days. I think it will be 1 or 2 days, but don't take this as a guarantee. But we will make sure to send everything to you together with a PowerPoint that we use today. And if something was not clear, if you have additional comments, we will be very, very happy to have your feedback about the webinar. And of course, if you also have more topics you would like to discuss with us, we will be very happy to see the feedback and the comments as well. Thanks a lot, Marie, Pascaline, An-Sofie, and Constance.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure to host this webinar. Follow us on all the social medias and on our blog. And of course, see you at the next webinar from Questel. Have a nice morning or evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye.